This podcast is produced by Sunnydale Studios.
I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we record this podcast today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Jessie, no, we're not doing this, Dal.
Yes, I know I'm a beast, but it's fine.
Loves a Vindaloo, shit on your dick.
It's coming out both ends and I can't help it. I'm just a bloody Switzerland girl, okay?
Maybe drink less. Nah, that is so unladylike. All right, it's Monday again and it's school holidays. Not only is it school holidays, but the Queen went and died. She went and died and now we have a public holiday on a Thursday, which is podcast recording day, and I just think it was a shit decision by the government. Ding dong, the Queen is dead, and so I have invited another Queen in to replace her, my friend Jessie, better known as Passion Pop Mammy on Instagram. Now, Jessie has spoken about identity as an Indigenous Australian and Indian babe on previous Journey to Worthy events, but I invited Jessie today because if you've ever been to an event and she's there, you'll know she's a time. She is fun with a capital F. And if there's water at the venue, she'll be in it. Fully clothed, doesn't matter. Callie, the island rooftop pool deck, she's in the water. She's in the pool. Rain, hail, shine, she's there. She's the absolute life of a party, but she's also one of the kindest people. So I recently had a bad experience and I had to cancel some things. And, you know, I didn't want to cancel some things, but I had to, and I had to let people know. 6 people to be exact. I didn't expect nor want anyone to ask how I was or any of that. Like, I just wanted to send the email and like, done. That's done. Over. But out of the 6 people, Jessie rang. Like, no, I lied. Jules rang too, but Jessie and Jules. But when Jessie rang, the first thing she said was, yeah, no, I don't care about anything else. Are you okay? And I don't know, that has stuck with me because that was just one of the kindest things that someone's done. Like, to actually give a shit to be
cry.
No, but like, you are the real deal, and that meant the world to me. So thank you.
I mean, it's a human experience, right?
Yeah, but people don't do that anymore, and that's one of the things that we're talking about, influencers today and fake friendships, and that's one of those things where we've met through various influencer thingies.
Yeah.
But our friendship is genuine, and that to me was just like, wow, like it meant a lot to me. Aww. And it made me very happy. So thank you. Anyway, come on, that's enough. It's enough emotion. So she's 1 in a million. Welcome, cowgirl, hat-loving Jessie. Woo! She's a wallflower. For those listening, she's very subtle. She's dressed in a leather jacket with purple feathered top. Diamantes under her eyes, big hoop earrings, the curly hair. She's got it all going on. She's really quiet and subtle. And she did say that she was a bit nervous because she's got no filter. I'm like, Dal, you're on the right podcast.
Oh, bloody hell, here we go.
How are you, bitch?
I'm not going to lie. I'm all right.
Yeah, what's happened?
I hate to be like,
nah,
the negative person.
It's all right. We don't do toxic positivity here. Be negative.
Navigating life, man, and just figuring out what I want to do.
Yeah, when you grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm never going to grow up.
No, look, you don't have to. 42 this year, still an actual child, but only figured out what I want to do when I grow up a couple of years ago. So.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with never knowing.
Yeah.
I think that's a part of the journey.
Yes.
And I don't foresee myself sticking to one thing for the rest of my life because I don't stick to things.
Yeah.
I'm late for everything and I'm late to leave as well. So.
Last to arrive, last to leave. I enjoy that. Yeah.
Oh, I am always late.
Speaking of partying, being last to leave, this is going to segue nicely into your so unladylike moment. Oh my God, it's so unladylike. So Jessie has 2. She's told me the first one. So tell us your first unladylike moment. Tell us what the Jessie is.
Oh, so my friend and I have coined a phrase called the Jessie, and it used to happen like a lot, but it only happens occasionally now as I've gotten older and I know how to handle my alcohol. I don't know how to handle my alcohol.
You know how to handle your alcohol. What are you talking about?
So basically the Jessie is after a big night on frozen margaritas. the next morning I'll be going to the bathroom, doing my thing, doing a little poop, and all of a sudden I will need to do a big vom bomb. So I just go and sit in the shower and it's coming out both ends.
It's giving me gastro vibes.
Yeah, it's coming out both ends and I can't help it.
Oh my
and
God.
I think like before I just tried to lean in, but I got thick thighs on the toilet, so it's just not going to work. So I thought the shower was the best option.
Can you remind me to never shower at your place?
Trust, I've got an ensuite. You don't need to go in there. It's a bit messy. I wouldn't let anyone in there anyway.
Bleach is good.
Yeah.
Bleach does everything anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you poor thing. Maybe drink less. Nah.
Lasts about an hour and then I'm over it. So
I'm over it.
that's an hour out of my day. It's fine.
God. Now, what's your second one?
I
I mean, I love that you've given us 2,
Yeah.
and I don't doubt for a second that you could have given us 10.
Oh, I'll give you. I'm the most unladylike person you'll ever fucking meet. Did you just get coffee in your eye? Are you okay?
It's just splashed and got me in the eye.
Oh,
And
memories.
it's tea. English breakfast for the Queen.
I'm very well versed in getting shit in my eyes.
Actual shit while you're vomiting
not
it.
shit.
Are
My
you talking about cum?
What?
Oh, did I just take it somewhere?
Yeah, it
you're
was
talking about
definitely
cum?
cum.
Yeah. Do you know you can get pink eye? Like, you can actually get an infection in your eye from sperm because the membrane of your eye is the same as the membrane of an egg.
Shut
So the
fuck
sperm
up.
tries to
They're
enter.
trying to fertilise my eyeball.
That's trying to fertilize your eyeball. And then you cry baby eyes.
Stop
And that's why
it.
people get like an infection and pink eye from it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine.
I know. Imagine that. What's wrong with your eye? Well, someone tried to fertilize it.
I'm going to get an abortion on my eye.
Fuck you, America. I want an abortion in my eye.
Jesus.
All right. Next one. Sorry. I took it straight to cum.
I could talk about cum for a long time. Second one is we had curry for dinner. This guy that I was seeing. One of the guys I was seeing. And it's just like not a good day.
Yeah.
Not a good curry.
Not a good curry either.
Yeah, Vindaloo, but it was like not very good.
Okay.
So
Bit of food poisoning?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah, a little bit of salmonella.
And I felt a little bit funny, but I was like, nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll just go to the bathroom before. So I went to the bathroom and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like I had a little bit of poopies, but you know, I thought I got rid of it and like
Yeah.
I cleaned myself and I
Emptied
made sure
the
I was
bowels.
ready to go. Anyway, we started having sex.
You don't have to whisper it, Dale.
Yeah,
This is
sorry.
the podcast.
We started having sex.
We started fucking.
He started doing the deed, and all of a sudden I could smell something, and I was like, "Oh, what? I didn't feel myself do anything. Like, what's going on here?" I was like, "Is that me or is that him? Like, did he just fart or?" And I was like, "I'll just keep going." I was like, back shots, like, and then. Like, he pulls out and he's like, well, I go like this, but it's definitely like this for my ass.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, are you bleeding? And I was like, no. And then I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh my God, I like have severe diarrhea. And it was because it was so watery. He's just like, what's going on? Like, it didn't look like shit. It didn't look like anything. It was just super watery. And when I tell you, I have never been so fucking mortified in my life. Because one, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did I fucking prolapse? Like, what the fuck's
You
going
didn't
on?
even feel it come out?
Yeah, and we weren't even having anal. Like, what's going on?
My God.
And then two, I was like, where the fuck did this happen? Like,
yeah.
And so I just like went straight to the shower and I started like crying because I was like,
Aw. He's
I
going to
like-
know now. He's
Yeah.
going to know that
Yeah.
he's got shit on his dick.
yeah, it was shit thick. And I was just so like mortified and I just like couldn't believe it. But props to him because he came into the shower and he just started like hugging me and he's like, it's fine.
Aww.
This stuff happens. Like shit happens.
Shit happens?
And like I've never felt like I've never felt so mortified, but I'd never felt so confident in my life.
Oh, and did you both scrub?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. I just need to, I don't like
Cleaned
poo.
the shit out of myself.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just cuddled the rest of the night. It was just really
Aw.
nice.
Was he
But-
like, put a nappy on you?
bruh.
He's like, I'm going to stay, but I
Yeah.
want to be the little spoon.
But like I I think in any other situation, if I hadn't been comforted like that, I think I would have held on to that for a really long time.
Yeah.
But I think because he was so lovely about it and like cleaned me and stuff like that.
Can
like,
we just say it's nice to hear a nice story about a man,
100%.
right? It's
You
nice
don't get
to
them
hear.
very often.
You don't get them very often.
And if I think about like the other guys I was seeing at the time.
If it had been them, different story. But like shit does literally happen, and what are you going to do? It's a human bodily function.
100%.
And clearly, you had no control. You didn't even feel it. We've got to talk about that.
Yeah, wow.
Maybe less use of the butt plug stuff if you're not feeling it coming out.
No, I think just because it was like so like I had severe like it was probably severe food poisoning.
I would
if
say
think
so.
About it, yeah, it was just a horrible but incredible experience.
Yeah, good. We found a silver lining.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Good. Well, there's one good man in the world. If you're going to shit on anyone's dick, make it his. All right. So today's topic, Jess, is influencers. Now, why, you may ask? You didn't, but you might. So I'll answer. So there's a couple of reasons. One is that it has just kept, in the last couple of weeks, it has just kept coming up in conversations with businesses that I've been speaking to, but also with friends. And you don't really hear about it anywhere. People are so nervous about talking about these things or pissing off the wrong people
100%.
or, you know, being too
so
politically
correct.
And it's so easy to do that now, right? But I guess we're kind of not afraid to do that here. So opinions are opinions, and obviously as long as you're not hurting anybody, I think it's important to talk about these things. So that's the other thing that too is that we talk about issues affecting women here, and social media is arguably a huge source of insecurity but also comfort for women. So let's establish that Jessie and I aren't influencers in the traditional sense, that it's not our full-time job. We have lives outside of content creation, but we both have worked with brands and do work with brands, but it doesn't form the basis of our job, our livelihood.
Yeah.
So the term influencer has really only been used in the past decade and only was added to the dictionary in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
wild.
It's in the dictionary. What a world. What a world. So it's a relatively new career and job, which it is for people, a career and a job. And when you look at it for what it is, a career or a job, then followers are customers and or potential customers. So an influencer's job is to get people invested in their life and to not only follow but stay following, and to build trust, to build community for engagement and sales for brands, because sales for one brand will lead to a deal with another brand, right? Because you can show that you've got a good history. They want you to feel like your friend, use their affiliate codes, and essentially make money off of that inverted commas friendship. The consumer does feel a kinship, almost like, you know, when you've got a favorite celebrity and you feel like when they die, you cry and you feel like you knew them and you feel like they're a part of you and you had this connection with them. But you feel, with influencers, I feel like people feel like they know this person on an intimate level, but the relationship's one-sided, completely one-sided. You know what they had for lunch, how many kids they have, if someone in their family has just died or had a baby, and when they poo, like how many bowel movements they have in a day. Just ask Jessie. Yeah, or when they shit on dick, or when they've had sex. But they know nothing about you, and because it's not a friendship. It's not a friendship. It's made to feel that way for a purpose, and that purpose for them is purely monetary. So if you unfollowed them, they'd never notice, and you'd never find out about their next poo. So it would end. That friendship would end essentially when you unfollow them. Is there something wrong with that? No, it's a job, and many influencers do create actual communities or contribute positively online. So let's be clear and preface this first that we are talking in general. You know, not all influencers, not all men. We just want to put that out there now. There's obviously exceptions to the rule all the time, but we are going to be talking about the majority or even specific cases, depending on what's come through on the question box. But we want to be honest and we want to talk about what it really is, because this is an area of the world that does affect women in a huge way. And it is a career that little girls and little boys and want to grow up and become, you know. So we need to talk about it, in my opinion.
100%.
What do you think about that? What's your take on the communities really being the one-sided friendship?
I think coming from both a business perspective as well as a personal perspective, I've sort of seen both sides.
Yeah.
So I was in the company that I work with, I was one of the first social media managers.
Yeah.
And so that was way back in the early 2000.
Probably around 2010, 12? Yeah.
So I was one of the first within our company to have like a fully fledged social media role. So,
of course, because it wouldn't have existed.
Nah.
Yeah.
So I've sort of seen a turnabout within a business perspective. I see influencers as one of the easiest, cheapest ways of marketing.
Yeah.
You are a marketing tool.
Yeah.
You're a marketing tool. That's what you are. And I think when you understand that, when you understand that is your job, then obviously that's going to draw a line between creating friendships or that one-sided friendship.
Yeah.
From a personal point of view, I want to get to know people who are within my community. I try to make an effort. I'm not very good with replying back to people at all.
Yeah.
I have the craziest life, so actually sitting down and like responding to people really drains the energy that I don't have.
So that's boundary setting though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for me that when I do post or when I do things, it's something that people can relate to, or it's something that people would find cool. And that's my sort of way of communicating.
See, and I think that's the difference because you've got a full-time job outside of influencer work. And I think that's where there is that difference. There's not, I guess, that stress to really, contrive content and everything be content because your paycheck that week relies on it, or for the engagement to be at a certain level or a certain percentage or I mean, I know that's something I used to worry about a lot.
Oh, 100%. That was like, for a point in time there, I was like, maybe I should be taking this more seriously. This could be a profitable career for myself. But then there's that transverse effect where it's like, I kind of want to make it in the business industry as much as like it's fun.
Yeah.
I want to sort of have a set career in a company. I love working with brands. Like I love having that formidable work where I can showcase a portfolio of branding and of that kind of, I love helping brands.
So you're working in something you enjoy already.
Yeah.
So this is just an extra,
and it's my creative output because I can do whatever the fuck I want on my Instagram without the repercussions or without having to abide by rules or without having to like, you need to post like this, you need to put up 4 stories.
I know when I first started on Instagram and I felt that real pressure to have the engagement numbers, and for me, influencing full-time is definitely not something that I would be comfortable doing, simply for the fact that now when brands approach me, I explain and I set boundaries because I explain to them that my community means more to me than anything, and I will never do anything that will dilute the message that I'm trying to get out there.
Yeah.
And if anything's going to be a risk to that, I don't care how much you offer to pay, it's not worth it. Whereas when it's your full-time career, you've got to take almost every opportunity. It's your job. Like you need to get paid.
Yeah.
So you're out there, it can become inauthentic and repetitive, and so same as you, I can understand both sides. And it is a choice, and it must be really hard though, because you do need to create content that is going to get the clicks and get the likes and get people engaging, so that you've got that engagement rate that appeals to brands, and then you can charge more.
Yeah, my engagement rate is horrible.
Well, I stopped caring so much.
Yeah.
Because the DMs come through and I know it's reaching people.
Yeah.
And the people that need to see it are seeing it.
Yeah.
And I also know how contrived a lot of content is for likes. And I'm happy to have lower likes or lower engagement in that sense, but know that it's authentic content and it's not just being made for clickbait. Well, look, I put a anonymous question / confessions box on Not Gonna Lie, and I'm going to read you some.
Well, here we go.
When people are anonymous, they really spill the tea, hey, when they're not, because this is the thing, people are afraid of backlash.
Harsh.
they're afraid of backlash. They're afraid of saying something that's going to piss someone off. And then you can see what happens on social media where if you call out someone with a large following, their followers come and attack you. So people are afraid of this. And of course, people don't want to put their communities offside, right? What do you mean you didn't want to? Go back.
I did the not gonna the
box
anonymous.
But here's our first confession.
Here we go.
I'm an influencer with a confession. You know those ask me anything question boxes. I write most of the questions to myself. Laughing emoji. It provides a lead for me to mention a sponsored product.
Whoa!
So look, I'm not surprised by that. I've always suspected.
Oh, no, I fucking do some of them sometimes.
Yeah, you've done it?
Yeah,
Ask yourself a question, you mean?
Yeah, just to start it off so that people will start asking me questions.
Love it.
And it'd just be something basic like, what's your favourite movie at the moment? And I'd be like, knowing I fucking asked myself.
Thanks for asking, Tom.
But it's just like that one question so it doesn't look like you're not getting anything. And then people are like, oh, I want to know this and this like that. But then I just stop fucking doing them because how many questions do people have to ask? And if you have a question, just message me, bro.
Yeah, a lot of influencers do it weekly, and I see a lot of the, wow, guys, I get asked this a lot. And I'm like, no, you don't. You wrote that question yourself. Like, I've always had an inkling, so this is nice to hear it from someone.
The sponsored one is a bit shady. Not going to lie. But, I mean, if you got to get the message out there and you got to get paid, go for gold.
Smart. So this leads me to the result. I had put a poll up on at Jenny DeWorthy Official in stories asking people questions about influencers. So 85% of people said that they don't think influencers are honest. So, I mean... it
depends on the influencer.
Well, another anonymous message stated that they believed in influencers until they found out that someone swearing a particular shampoo helped her hair grow had extensions.
Stop.
Like, why would...
Stop. No.
Can you imagine? Look how thick my hair got. Use this product. Extensions.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible, but like also...
No, it is horrible. It's disingenuous.
Misleading.
It's not okay. I mean, in my opinion, it should be illegal.
But that's the thing, right? Brands and companies have to abide by laws and have to abide by consumerism laws. Why doesn't that still apply to, and it's starting to, but why doesn't that apply as much to, again, an influencer who is essentially a part of a business?
I'd be pissed if I was the brand. Yeah. I would be so pissed and I would never work with them again, because if you're flicking through a magazine, I mean, who does that anymore? But if you're flicking through a magazine and there's a L'Oreal ad and it will have, in fine print, dramatized for, like a mascara ad or something, they'll say it's a dramatization, like it's been enhanced for or touched up or whatever. If you have got extensions and you've used the shampoo, just say that. Yeah. It is disingenuous and it is...
Because people are going to believe that.
That's what I mean, and that's not okay. It
sucks, dude.
Yeah. Okay. A well-known influencer was at the airport and I literally watched them refilm The Amazing Reunion 3 times.
Stop.
To get the shot right. Like, literally, they would run, hug, cry, watch it back, nope, then go back and refilm. Far out. That again.
But I don't think that's just influencers. I'm going to put that out there. I know people who are not influencers.
Yeah, okay.
Who are just everyday people who will record their reaction. Oh, no. Let's do it again. And it's just because we inherently as human beings care so much about how other people perceive us and how we're perceived in an environment that is not controlled by us.
But why are they, if they're not content creators, why are they filming reactions to anything anyway?
Well, just a reaction to just a reaction to a product that they bought or like something spicy or like, something.
Wow.
I just don't think that's primarily just influencers because I've seen it many times done before with people who don't even have a following.
Wow. Well, this particular case, they said influencer, so I think interesting.
We all sort of have that deep down, like we want to be liked or we want to be seen a certain way. How many times did I say, oh, I just got this in the mail? Yeah. Like, I think we can...
But this is... fake crying and running
that's a
towards
lot.
someone. I agree with what you're
put
saying.
the phone down and enjoy
Have
life.
your fucking reunion, but imagine like it's for me that one. That's the thing that stands out is the run, hug, cry. Watch it back. No, let's run, hug, cry again. Like, how can you?
Yeah.
Who can turn it on and off like that? And imagine, like, are they completely oblivious to people being around witnessing this happening? How embarrassing! I'm so embarrassed.
At that point, I don't think they care.
Okay, I've got another one.
Okay.
This one, my friend admitted to already knowing she was pregnant, but redoing a test to film for content and crying and acting like it was the greatest surprise. Give her an Oscar, honestly. So this to me is moving into leveraging experiences and pain a lot of people do for clicks and engagement. And I guess that brings us back to creating that sense of intimacy with their followers so the followers become invested in them, and that it's quite contrived. And you do see it with loss as well, that people, influencers in general, not people, because people who aren't online don't film that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Do leverage pain and heartbreak for views and clicks, and that sits with me morally and ethically. I don't think that's great, but I guess the onus is on the followers, I guess, as well to be aware.
You have to just like take it as it is. We don't know if their reaction was exactly the same, and so they're just doing the exact same thing as what their original reaction is.
Jessie, no, we're not doing this, Dal. No, Dal, we're not doing it. She'd done a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
She knew she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Then obviously, all right. Then fucking talk about it, Jessie.
I get it.
This is why we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're so worried about, why can't we just,
100%.
you said,
I chuck everything.
Let's just see it for what it is, right? Someone's found out they're pregnant and then gone, I've got to re-record this for content purposes to share with my followers, make them feel like they are doing a pregnancy test with me.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to
They're
gasp
along with
and
the
cry
journey.
and act all surprised, but I already knew I was pregnant.
Yeah.
It's fake. It's disingenuous, and it's
Yeah.
okay to
And there's a
say
way
that, and to say that it's disingenuous. It's fucking bullshit.
There's
but
a way
also,
you can do it better.
or not do it at all.
Yeah. I keep everything like personal and my close friends. Like that's where I feel comfortable of like these are the people that I have been following me for a while. They may not necessarily be very close to me, but I have created sort of a group of like people that I know have followed me for a while who consistently engage in my content.
So that's a bit different. Close friends are great for that.
Yeah.
But I think faking real life experiences,
Yeah.
that to me is a bit fucked.
There's a bit of
and
a
I'm going to
line.
say it, it's a bit fucked. And yes, again, I prefaced this at the beginning. So it's okay, we've prefaced it, Jessie. It's not all influencers.
I'm just a bloody Switzerland girl, okay?
Look, we both have friends who are influencers as their full-time jobs. Like, our friends will be listening to this. They know, like, if this is offensive to someone, then the shoe fits, right? If there's an
You take what
influencer
you
listening
want from it.
and they're nodding along, it doesn't fit. That they're obviously not doing these things, so they're not, they're more genuine.
Yeah.
But I always say, if someone says something and the shoe fits, you got to look at what you're doing.
Yeah,
it's not us.
Hundy.
We're just speaking truths.
Handy.
Another one, I'm an influencer and I loathe the influencer events, but I go and post and act like we are all the best of friends, and I ensure I'm featured in as many stories as possible. We aren't real friends in the sense that we catch up only when we see each other for content and events. It's essentially networking. So the poll I did online, 78% of people think the friendships are fake as fuck and all for clout and reshares.
Yeah.
Now, again, we can discuss variables, but I don't want to just be Switzerland all the time because,
100%.
yes, as we've both established, we have friends who are influencers who we are friends in real life and don't just go to events
you
and
got
things.
me moving around.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
already
I've got you
uncomfortable.
sweating. Now, no Switzerland, all right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I said to someone once? I don't know. I'm Sweden on it. She goes, "Do you mean Switzerland?" I'm like, I knew it started with an S. Bloody idiot. So obviously there's variables there.
Mm-hmm.
there's friends who are genuine friends inside and outside of events, but also it is essentially networking and it is their job. So it's kind of smart to do as well.
And you profit off other people's following.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do you think people share other people? Or why do you think you see a lot of collaborating? I think like friendships wise, I struggled a lot with, especially in the beginning, because I do have quite a big personality and I do make myself known. And some people get put offside by that. And I completely understand. I've had it my whole entire life, whether it be being a big girl or being a big personality. I've always sort of been on the outer.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm friends with a lot of people, but I used to be a quantity person and not a quality person. And I found that so lonely.
Yeah.
And I still feel lonely, obviously. Like, you sometimes look at these big friendship groups, and especially in the
This is why we're talking about it, because there's going to be people listening who see these big friendship groups and think that everyone's friends, that they have these friendships offline and that their feelings of loneliness, if I can just become an influencer, if I can just get in this group, then I will have these friendships. And that's why I think it's important to talk about it and not be Switzerland on these things, because
this is something that I'm definitely not Switzerland on.
Yeah.
I created a following, and that following does not bring you friendships.
No.
It does not bring you good people.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It brings you people that are not in it for your best interests.
Yeah.
But it also can bring you people like Shani.
Yeah.
Because I met her through Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think it's one and the same. You have the good and you have the bad. And whatever comes, you have to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Because I was not prepared for it.
No.
And I was not prepared to feel so lonely and so overwhelmed. This was at a point where I had 10K followers, and I was like, why do I not, like, I thought this was meant to be fulfilling, and I thought I was meant to be creating these lifelong friendships.
You were sold that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things that, it is a lifestyle that is sold to people, and people want to go to events and be in the vicinity of other influencers so they can, I guess, by association, get that lifestyle too.
Yeah.
We're trying to, I guess it's great that these influencers have anonymously confessed these things, because it's revealing that it's as fake as what maybe your gut's telling you it is. It is. It's not necessarily all true. Yes, there's exceptions. We've established that. There's exceptions. But the majority is it's networking, it's business. They're fake friendships that if Instagram didn't exist, these people wouldn't catch up.
I remember I came to a Gold Coast event, and it was for quite a big brand.
Yeah.
And it was like at this amazing bar, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Like, I'm going to meet all these people, and there were some big fucking names there. And as soon as I walked in the room, I noticed I was the only plus size person there.
Oh.
And if I had known that before, I think I definitely would have stepped back a little bit. But I was so fucking nervous going into an event where I knew no one was plus. But I had such an interesting experience, because people came up to me and talked to me more than what I'd ever experienced at a plus size event.
Really?
Which was so, honestly, it put me back.
Okay, because this is interesting, because one of the confessions was, I'm in the curve community and it's actually really toxic. That was what one of the things that came through.
Yeah.
I'm not in the curve community, so I can't speak from that.
I've been in the community for a really long time, and I've met so many different people from different areas. And I think one thing that I find disappointing is, as much as we're meant to be promoting inclusivity, there are a lot of exclusionary factors. I mean, give Australian Fashion Week, for example. There are so many plus size people of colour that could have been invited that weren't. Mm-hmm. And that...
So you're saying the curve community is very white? I
think it is quite white, and we should be uplifting.
Can we be honest? The influencers
in general are so white.
And if you go to an influencer event, it will mostly be straight-sized white women.
100%.
And that in itself is a problem.
And it's just like when I first came in here and I was worried about the chair, from like me being able to fit in this chair.
Jessie walked in and the first thing she said was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit in that chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not relating, and I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but it would just be like a person of color walking into a room, being like, I'm the only person of color.
Yeah.
I walk into a room noticing straight away I'm the only plus size person.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's something that not a lot of influencers have to deal with.
Yeah, you're right.
They go to an event and they're like, yeah, this person, oh, I go there. I go into an event and I look at the chairs. I'm like, can't sit on that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get someone to get me another chair, please? I've got a really big ass.
Yeah.
And I phrase it in a funny way, but it's kind of humiliating.
Humor's my coping mechanism too, obviously for
too.
different reasons, but yeah, it's my 100% helps me.
And so like that's my coping mechanism of not just the influencers themselves, but the people inviting the influencers as well need to be aware.
I think one of the other questions was, do you think all influencers are the same? And this brings us to no, I think at these events, I think the ones that are highlighted are all very much the same. But social media is the only way that you can control what you see and diversify what you see on your feed and see a diverse range of models and marketers, I guess. And a recent study revealed that 40% of consumers are fatigued by repetitive influencer content, and it's just not working the way it used to. And I had a meeting with a business, and they told me that they had worked with arguably one of the biggest influencer and media personalities in Australia at the moment, and it generated no sales and it cost an absolute bomb. It's definitely not as cheap as it used to be. Micro influencers, yes, but the bigger, influencer celebrities, it's, you're dropping 10 grand for stories and it's not generating sales. And another brand told me that it used to work, but it's just not working anymore because people don't trust. So I found online that 3% of consumers are now being influenced to purchase by celebrities, only 3%. So my poll was 50-50, where people were like, yep, I get influenced every time. And 50% of people are like, no, I don't trust anything they have to say. I still get influenced online, particularly with fashion.
I get influenced all the fucking time.
Yeah, I can see it on someone. Skincare, no. Cleaning products, no. If I am being inundated by influencers promoting a product, then I instantly know that they've used influencer marketing and that this is their full-time job. I just can't trust that
Anyone
it's necessarily authentic.
Yeah.
But especially with fashion, because you can see it on someone. So that's a little bit easier.
I look at a fashion item on like a celebrity or someone that I know, and I do fucking research if they haven't labeled it, and I wait and I go through the comments, thousands of comments, especially with Cardi B. Like whenever she wears something, I'm like looking through every single comment.
Who's it by? Yeah.
Where is this from? And someone will have done the research. And
it's like the perfume. Yes. Rihanna smelled good. Someone commented once.
And Rihanna does smell good. Apparently.
Oh, did you know? You spoke to her.
I know, babe. I know Rihanna.
And the last one is, I am legit shook at how some of the bigger Aussie influencers have a following. Monotone, boring, same content. Also, can they stop whinging about how hard their life is from a sponsored holiday abroad? Look, I think many influencers jumped on during 2013. So before the algorithm changed, their following grew pretty quickly. And again, followers remain loyal because they're invested in this person and invested in the relationship they think that they potentially have with someone. But I think regarding follower count, one of the questions on the poll was, do you think that people's following are genuine or that they're bought? And a lot of people didn't know that you could even buy followers. Now, let me tell you, for the record, some of the biggest influencers in Australia have bought following. Some of those bought them to get over 1 million. They wanted to get 1 million. And you'll continually see it drop and then go back up to 1 million, drop and go back up to 1 million, because they're purchasing them, because they base their worth and their value on how many followers they have or what their engagement is. People can buy likes. Yeah. They can buy views. So if you're looking at someone, I guess the message at the end of the day is it's a job. If you enjoy seeing someone's content and you're looking at their content daily, support them by, engaging in their paid promotions. That's the least you can do, in my opinion, when you're, taking on free content. But on the other hand, if you don't like their content, you don't trust them, find their content boring, unfollow. Yeah. Unfollow. But even
going back to the, finding a lot of influencers the same or monotone, blah, blah, blah. I like to think of it, again, from a business perspective. How are you going to sell an open house? You do it up in a way that most people can see their furniture or their way of doing things in that house. So that's just like, you've got an influencer who may be monotone, who may not be as interesting as other people, but that is the perfect candidate for brands to jump on board with.
Okay.
It's because they can dress it in their product and showcase the product over the person.
So they're more moldable in that sense.
100%.
Whereas you or I, when
Look
we
at-
work with a brand, we're like, yep, I understand what the deliverables are,
Yep.
but I am not doing a script.
100%.
I will not do a script.
Or
I will be
I just-
trying the product for a month before I'm promoting it. That sort of.
Being Curve, I have so many people asking me to promote fucking floral dresses or
That's not how you
things that
dress.
aren't bodycon, and you could take one look at my page and know that would never be something that would be seen in. So I think again, people are trying, like some brands are trying, but they're looking for that blank canvas.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's not to say that all of the main celebrities don't have our influencers don't have a personality, but look at Kim Kardashian, biggest influencer in the world. She's fucking batshit boring.
Yeah, you're right. She's so monotone too. You're right.
And so she
Yeah.
is a canvas that obviously
Blank
she's
canvas.
got perfect body, like everything she's built and made herself to be a blank canvas that
Yeah.
showcases the item over herself.
Yeah, she's a blank canvas. She can pick up other and culturally appropriate other cultures as she sees fit.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Kim Kardashian at all. Look, and I think the other thing that this person mentioned was, can they stop complaining when they're on their paid trips abroad? Yeah. Look, privilege is strong in the influencer community. There
White
is
privilege.
white privilege. Good point. There is very much that sense of luxury and designer handbags and holidays and all these things that are possibly paid for or being paid. I mean, I know someone who's an influencer who I thought they'd received a holiday in exchange for posting about it. They received a holiday and got paid to post about what a great time they were
100%.
having. And a lot of the time they're not having a great time anyway. But it's just like that pressure too. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a job. But my friend calls it the circle jerk of Instagram. So the circle jerk, where all the influencers just jerk each other off and it's fake as fuck.
But see, that I've lost friends from that.
From what? From the circle jerk?
From the circle jerk theory. I don't put it out there, and it's not a big thing, but I will only promote people of color or people with disability or like just genuine inclusion on my stories.
Yeah.
I won't post other influencers. I won't post actively like reshare their stuff. Just because if I've got a platform, I'd rather give a voice
Elevate
to
the
other
minority.
people that deserve it.
Yeah.
Not saying that they don't deserve it, but obviously like I want to be as inclusionary as possible.
Mhm.
And I've lost a couple of friendships from that kind of, they've shared me on their profile, their platform, expecting me to do the same thing. When like, again, you choose what you want to post and you choose, but I try and actively do it in a way that, yes, great, you're a big influencer. I am honored and stuff like that, and I'll definitely say thank you and I appreciate you and stuff like that.
But why can't they just share you because they want to share you, not because it's a tit for tat retaliation?
Yeah.
And this is where the
Everything's a transaction.
bullshit comes into it. And I just think it's something for people to be really aware of. Actors and actresses and singers and influencers as well. There's a lot of narcissism involved in
Oh,
this.
100%. You have to
You
be
have to
a
have-
little bit narcissistic.
Or you
to
have to have
venture
narcissistic
this.
traits,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
To be able to do what you do and be able to lose friendships with people and only promote people because you want something in return.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, that's that. I drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And that's me. That's my choice. I do support my friends who are influencers. If I see that, you know, they do other content, it contributes to the community, that's great. So if they do have a paid post, I do make a point of commenting on it and giving them engagement.
Yeah.
And I also, because I know them personally too, I do believe, you know, that what they're saying is true because I know that they'll only work with certain brands. But then there's people that say they'll only work with certain brands, but then every single day they're doing an ad that I'll only work with brands that I love. Wow, you fucking love a lot of shit, man.
Yeah. I'm like a dump and go person. I don't really scroll. I don't look at people's stories, and I know that people know that. It's not something that I actively find myself doing.
Yeah.
I don't look at who looks at my stuff. I sort of just dump, and then I'm like, all right, I'm
It's called
done.
post and ghost.
Yeah. I'm just taking a big dump on people.
Yeah, shitting on people's dicks.
So again, that's another bit of friction that I find as well, is because I may not I'm not as prevalent in the community and I'm not as prevalent on the platform. So then that's another like, she really like me, or is she like blah, blah, blah?
Well, then I think people need to, you know, invest more in that friendship, in catching up in things that are outside of the gram. And you know what I mean? You do lose faith in people, and I do have real life friends, and my friendship group is extremely diverse.
Yeah.
Extremely diverse in age, in ethnicity, in ability.
Yeah.
And I love that for me. And a lot of my friendships are offline, and I spend a lot of time with these people, and I don't share it online, because every time I go out to a cafe with my friends, it doesn't have to be documented.
Yeah.
I just don't want to live my life that way. And I guess kudos to people who do. But we need to be very aware of how fake it is, and what, like you say, the transverse effects of that lifestyle. If you want to be a full-time...
I'm a live-in-the-moment person.
Yeah, because you're not an influencer. But that's what I mean. Like for influencers who it's their full-time job, it's literally everything's content, to the point of faking reunions at airports, clearly, or pregnancy tests, faking reactions, contriving content, leveraging grief and sorrow for clicks. And to me, it's just morally bankrupt. I don't like it. I think it's manipulative,
and it comes down to the reason why you do it.
Yeah, I love genuine connection. I think that's my whole issue, and it was just interesting listening to businesses talk about the fact that it just doesn't work anymore. So I think micro influencers have more effect with their friends 100%. And family than the max influencers do, because influencing, when it was new, people really believed, you know, that, I mean, look at Ashley Bynes, for example, Bondi Boost, look what she did for Bondi Boost. You know, and she is someone who I had a brand many moons ago when she was pregnant with Taj, and Grady was pregnant too, and they were amazing to work with, and generated great results because there was that trust there. Now, and I'm not talking about Ashley Bynes, but now in general with influencers, there's just no trust, whereas with micro influencers, they tend to have a more family friendship based following, and they believe what they say.
I mean, it's this century's word of mouth, and if you don't trust what that person's saying, then you're not going to take into account what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is just unfollow those people. Like if you're constantly seeing someone pop up in your feed and you're like, you're fake, this is fake, I know this is recreated drama, I know that you're leveraging something, unfollow them, mute them. See,
and this is the thing, right? Especially over COVID, we've seen the rise of the authentic influencer, which is something that I think is so important, and there's something that I try and live by. You see a lot more people getting popular, especially on TikTok and stuff like that, who take a video straight away and then that's it.
TikTok is the place for that, 100%.
And
a lot of that is genuine, and people are just mums, or just putting the bins out and something happens and it's being captured on film. TikTok algorithm can shoot you far and wide. It's completely different. It's very similar to Instagram's original algorithm. So people can grow on TikTok really easily, and a lot of people can find them. So I think TikTok, people are stuck in Instagram with the being not authentic at all. So a lot of big influencers on Instagram don't have the following on TikTok because people don't buy into it. But you can have huge TikTok people who just don't have the Instagram following because they're almost two completely different platforms, and you can't post the same stuff. So I actually post different videos to my TikTok than I do to my Instagram. Different sort of community that I have. I'm the same person, but the community that's been built to 70,000 followers on TikTok is a different kind of community than the 97% female, worthy, self-worth, self-love oriented army that is on Instagram.
As an influencer and as a plus-size influencer, or anyone who's diverse in the influencer broad landscape, it can be so detrimental to your mental health.
And TikTok is brutal.
Oh, it's
like
the
nastiest. I got bullied on TikTok once. I had a panic attack. I went and had a bath because when I have a panic attack, I get cold. So, and my husband's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I've just got to get warm. I've got to get in the tub." And I was like, I just want to delete myself from the world right now. Now, I've developed really thick skin to it. Yeah. And I get especially men commenting all the time.
Yeah, the first time it happened to me, because I'd built up this community on Instagram.
Of women, right? And
people only follow you because they want to follow you and stuff like that. And then all my stuff getting pushed everywhere. I was like, oh shit. Yes, I know I'm a beast, but it's fine. Like I'm fine.
I loved one of your responses to your anonymous questions had come through. You had so many nasty things, but when you said, and for the last time, I don't have lipedema, I'm just fucking fat.
Yes!
I was like
the
this.
amount of times I have been told you have lipedema.
Do you know that before there is a rise of lipedema, and I had someone with lipedema on to talk about this, but I feel like it's an extremely hard thing to diagnose, extremely hard, but suddenly there's all these diagnoses from cosmetic surgeons.
Yeah.
There's only one way to remove lipedema, and that is through liposuction. I can get rid of it for you when it may not necessarily be lipedema, but also every fat person does not have fucking lipedema.
I just like to fucking eat, man.
Yeah, curries and shits on dick. Loves a Vindaloo, shit on your dick.
That's a good Vindaloo.
Yeah.
That's on my dating profile. Have a look.
May shit.
May
Comes
shit
with warning.
on your dick.
That fun time,
Thank
and will
you.
wear my cowgirl hat.
Have you ever heard of the Jessie?
We've had a big night on the drinks, doll. Just when you wake up, just abandon, just don't come in
Don't
the
come in the
ensuite.
bathroom.
We're doing a Jessie, and all I hear is blah, blah, blah.
Me just on the ground. I
the
literally
shower.
just sit on the ground and just let it happen.
That's what people do when their kids have gastro. They just put them in the bath or the shower and let
yeah,
it
I'm
flow.
still a child.
You are still a child. My baby Jessie. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in and getting a little bit off Switzerland. I know, you know.
I don't.
We had to, I know.
I'm this person who's very opinionated, but also I care a lot about people. So
Yeah. Look, sames. Let's be honest.
Oh,
here.
yeah,
like
yeah.
literally.
I'm not saying that you don't. Like, you bitch.
You're a bitch, Nash. No, I think women supporting women is important, but I think we have to draw a line of when we say this is actually manipulation tactics. This is not okay, you know, like multi-level marketing and things like that. I think influencing is heading in that direction, like multi-level marketing, where you're manipulating and using people's terrible situations to make money for yourself. And that it's okay to say that that's not okay. And yes, not everyone does it, but it's okay to call it out when it does happen and help people become aware of that so they're not targeted and they don't end up in, you know, believing things, feeling less about themselves because they believe these situations and friendships and lifestyles to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
100%.
Yeah. All right, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time for Nessa's Burn Book. Today's addition to the Burn Book is Anthony Albanese, our PM, for deciding that Thursday will be a public holiday day of mourning for the Queen. 1. Sir, if you can so quickly arrange a public day of mourning, negatively affecting many people and businesses, including mine, mate, it's podcast recording day, then you can change the date on the 26th of January. You can change the date or maybe create another day of mourning for the murder of Indigenous Australians. Instead, we see white people sinking beers whilst floating on inflatable thongs. 2. So many businesses will either have to close, loss of money, or pay their staff penalty rates, loss of income. Like, we are already financially fucked from COVID. Cost of living is at an all-time high, wages aren't increasing, rates are up again, but let's make a public holiday to mourn the Queen. Whether you're a monarchist or not, Albo, you're going in the bin, you're going in the book, Dale, you're in the burn book, all right? Wasn't very nice. We don't want a public holiday on Thursday. I'm not mourning the Queen. Many people aren't mourning the Queen, and change the date. All right, that's us for today's episode. Same time next week. I've got the amazing Jules Robinson in studio. Always seen as prim and proper, Jules wants to come on and show that there is another side to Jules Robinson. See you then, bitches. If you love this episode, please be sure to subscribe, follow, and rate us 5 stars. Join us on Instagram at SoUnladylikePod and Journey to Worthy Official, and keep sending in your questions, confessions, and opinions. You guys are so unladylike, and we are here for it. See you next week, bitches.